You're going through grief right now, I'm going to talk to you about my personal experience over the last few weeks in the hope that maybe we can find some common ground. Maybe it will be helpful to hear about somebody else going through the same experience or something similar, or just for support, solidarity. Human nature is what we do. I've experienced a lot of grief. It started when I was 16 years old when my dad killed himself, and it has peppered my life. My best friend of 25 years died holding my hand 5 years ago. And that was really the lowest point for me with grief, the most difficult I've ever found grief. And the process afterwards, getting used to the idea that that person is no longer in your life. Right now, I'm going through several things. Another friend of mine took his life. A family member is terminally ill. And I lost someone else. And I am spinning. I don't know how else to describe it. And this is a completely normal part of grief. A lot of people go through anger. I don't often experience that. And I guess I want to share this because I want you to know that you don't have to feel angry to have gone through the entire grief process. So, right now, I am struggling with day to day motivation, with inspiration for my clients, inspiration for my creativity during the day, for my content. I am feeling empty, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. Like there is a crushing heaviness on my heart. And frankly, right now, I am celebrating myself for doing fairly normal things. For probably 8 or 9 days, I did nothing, spoke to no one, saw no one, didn't move, barely got out of bed. And now I'm at a point where today I have sorted out my motorhome and I have done some little bits of work here and there, and I've made some content. I've spoken to a client and I'm starting to think about coming back into work, but very gently. I've eaten, I've shopped, I've taken care of my child, and right now that's enough for me. I think we have too much pressure on us to feel a certain way, to deal with things a certain way, to go through a certain process at a certain time, and it just doesn't work that way. And right now, I am honoring the fact that I don't feel good. I don't feel very connected to very much other than my pain. And that feels like a massive thing to say. It feels like a negative thing to say. It feels like almost an unenlightened thing to say. And it's really not part of the grief process. It is sad. It is very, very sad when we lose someone that we love, whether it is through death or through severing of a relationship. There is a part of you that needs to mourn, and the sadness that you feel can feel very heavy and you can be very depressed, literally pressed down, which is how I feel right now. And that is completely normal. And actually, part of my spiritual journey is being very aware of how I feel and what I'm going through and where my emotions are coming from and what it is that I need, holding space for myself. And right now, that's what I'm doing. I am holding space for myself. I'm counseling myself. I've spent a little bit of time with some family over the last couple of days, which has been tough because I just wanted to not speak to anyone. But it's been so healthy and so helpful to do that. I'm actually going over to my brother's this evening for a little bit. And again, that's an accomplishment. Right now, I feel like I'm doing just fine. I'm giving myself the time to feel sad, to feel the loss, to also deal with the lack of comprehension, especially when you are dealing with sudden death or the sudden end of a relationship, a sudden loss. That takes a minute to process. And I guess I want to normalize that. Normalize the fact that it's okay to not even be sure how you feel. It's okay to not be actively pursuing healing. Because in allowing yourself to just be, to just sit with the sadness, to sit with the bad feelings, you're actually giving yourself the chance to heal. And sometimes we're not in a position to do that, okay? And there is a very good argument for compartmentalizing those emotions, putting them to one side, and just getting on with your day, getting on with your life. But if you can allow yourself to feel the feelings, to experience the hurt, to sit with the darkness and the difficult things, you're going to save yourself the pain and the time of doing that further down the line. But there is no right or wrong way. To a certain extent, I am having to compartmentalize because I do still have to be a functioning human being within my household. I still have to make dinner. I still have to do happy, fun things with my son. If I had younger children, which I've been through grief when my children were younger, you have to compartmentalize even more because, you have to get them breakfast, you have to get them dressed. If they go to school, you need to take them to school. So it changes depending on your life experience, depending on where you're at, whether you have children, whether you have a partner. I don't have a partner, it's just me. For the most part, it's just me and my 13-year-old son in my house. My 18-year-old daughter is very often off for extended periods of time living her life. And I have found ways to navigate pain and sadness. And one of the most valuable things that I have found is to allow myself the time to just sit with it, to not really feel very motivated, to allow myself the lack of inspiration and motivation, because I know that life ebbs and flows. Everything comes and goes. Everything is cyclical. Nothing lasts forever. And as sad as I feel, and in the past, I felt quite panicky when I felt like this. Like, what am I going to do? I am not producing the same amount of creativity that I normally am. I'm not in a flow state as much as I usually am. I'm not being as inspirational as I usually am. But I've learned through the years, and unfortunately through lots and lots of experience of grief, that it will come back. And I guess right now I'm just sitting with it. I am battening down the hatches. I'm accepting that I'm in a storm. I'm accepting that the storm will pass. Right now, all I'm experiencing is the storm because that's how our emotions work. And I'm allowing that because it's not ruining my life. I would not be allowing it if it was ruining my life. I do not have a 9 to 5 day job that I have to go to that I am missing out on. My children are being cared for. All of the things that are necessary for my life are being achieved, and that's enough for me. So I wanted to share this part of the process of grief that is full of sadness and questions and loss and nothingness. A lot of nothingness. I wanted to share this while I'm feeling like this because I was sitting thinking I can't make content right now. I can't do it. I can't make a video because I am feeling this way. But actually, if I step into full integrity and just show up as I am and share this, maybe this will be helpful for someone who is going through grief or loss or sudden change to be in that moment of not being able to do things, but understand and know for certain that it will come back. Like, I know for certain my creativity will come back, my inspiration, my motivation, my 300 miles an hour 24/7, it will come back. But right now my soul needs to just coast. I need to be a twig in the wind for a little while, and that is okay. And if you're experiencing grief or sudden loss and you're watching this and you want to reach out and you want to talk or you want to share something, please reach out in the comments and I will reply. And I would love to share with you because sharing is one of the most beautiful things we can do as human beings. And that's what we're all doing here on this platform, right? We're sharing with each other, whether we're sharing things to make each other laugh or sharing information or just sharing connection. That's why we're here. So Yes, I'm aware this is not my normal kind of content. And if it's resonated with you, then that makes me happy. And if it's resonated with you, I hope it's helped in some way. And if it hasn't helped, I hope it's made you feel less alone or less critical of yourself whilst you are a twig in the wind. Have the best day that you can have.